Ohio State, Texas do battle on Friday at the Cotton Bowl to determine who will play in the 2024-25 National Championship game. Welcome into the Voice of College Football, breaking down the game we all love each and every day with you. Best discussion, debate, and analysis. And while we will dissect the Buckeyes and the Longhorns from every conceivable angle, including on our Buckeyes live show, Monday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time on our Ohio State channel. The Texas show comes down later on Monday night. We will look at history here between the Blue Bloods, who stacks up best all time and through various time frames. Let's take a look. All time, Texas versus Ohio State. The two schools have only faced each other 3 times. The first time was in 2005. Texas won a thriller in Columbus en route to the national championship, and they trailed the Buckeyes with about 40 seconds left to play in that game. Buckeyes came back the next year in Austin and won 24-7. Texas won the 2008 Fiesta Bowl in a thriller, winning that ball game in the final 15 or 20 seconds, 24-21. Ohio State is the all-time leader in win percentage at .735. Texas back at number 7. When we look at national championships, the Buckeyes have 8 officially, according to the AP. And of course, national championships are so subjective. There are all sorts of different services out there. The Winsipedia here lists the AP national championships. Ohio State 8, Texas with 4. Looking at conference championships, with the Buckeyes in the Big Ten with 39, and Texas was 31. Now, those were won in the Southwest Conference through 1995. Since 1996, that has been the Big 12. Texas had the opportunity to win an SEC championship in its first year, but lost to Georgia in the title game. Ohio State has played in 57 bowl games, Texas 61 bowl games. Keep in mind the Big Ten teams that finished in second place or lower could not reach bowl play according to conference rules until 1975. Ohio State is 1 game under 500 all-time in bowl play. Texas with a nice .557 winning percentage in postseason play. Ohio State is number 2 to Michigan in all-time wins. Texas is number 5 with 15 less wins than Ohio State in the history of the programs. Consensus All-Americans, Ohio State is number 2. They have a huge lead over Texas, 93-63 there. Heisman trophies, of course, Vince Young for Texas. The most recent for the Longhorns, and the most recent for the Buckeyes would be Troy Smith in 2006. 7-2 Buckeyes lead the Longhorns. NFL draft selections through the years. Ohio State trails USC and Notre Dame with 489 in the number 3 position. Texas is number 11 at 368. That would be 121 picks less than Ohio State. First rounders, the Buckeyes have been dominant. They are number 1 all time. They took over the lead from USC a few years ago at 91. Texas with 48. So Ohio State with almost twice as many first-round picks as Texas all time. Weeks in the AP poll, Ohio State is number 1 and Texas is number 7. Weeks at number 2. Alabama's number 1 all time. Ohio State's number 2. And Texas rates in the top 10 with 49 weeks at number 1. Now let's rank and compare the Blue Bloods in some more recent time frames. Now, I know that I'm going to get a bunch of comments down below, as I typically do when I deliver these type of statistics, to say, Mark, what about this time frame? Or you're cherry picking. I love that term because people don't know what cherry picking means. We're looking at 1970 on. We have chosen the 21st century on, and the playoff era up until this past weekend, 2014, through the games played just this past week. Why? They're just 3 arbitrary selections of time frames over the last, again, 50-plus seasons, 20-plus seasons in the 21st century. And again, the playoff era is a separate era unto itself. If you would like to select a different time frame, you can either pay me $1,000 and I will do that study and research for you and present a video, or you can do it yourself. I would love to be able to punch a button and say, okay, serve up Ohio State versus Texas, 1910 to 1919, and we'll do the 19 teens decade. We don't have that type of resource here at the Voice of College Football. It is simply my math skills and my willingness to do so. Since 1970, Ohio State has won just shy of 80% of its games. Texas not far behind at 768, trailing in just 14 wins there in major bowl games. Ohio State 20-18, Texas 10-11. So the Buckeyes have won twice as many major bowl games since 1970 and have appeared in 38 versus 21 for the Longhorns. In terms of ranking, the final AP ranking, Ohio State has finished ranked 45 times in the last 55 years, 32 in the top 10, 23 in the top 5 in the nation. That is a pretty good margin over Texas's numbers of 35. Buckeyes lead 32-16 in regards to top 10 finishes since 1970 and 23-12 in top 5 finishes. Conference championships, and again, as we mentioned before, Texas appearing in the Southwest Conference until 1995, transitioned to the Big 12, and then, of course, the SEC in 2024. 13 conference titles compared to Ohio State's 27. Since the year 2000, Ohio State has won just shy of 85% of its games. Texas, an even 700 winning percentage. So Ohio State has a pretty significant lead with 44 less losses, 48 more wins. Major bowl wins look like this. Ohio State 14-7 in the win column, having appeared in 23 major bowl games since the year 2000. Texas just 9 conference titles. The Buckeyes lead 13-3. And Ohio State in these 25 seasons since the year 2000. And yes, we are assuming that Ohio State and Texas will both finish in the top 5 since they have reached the national semifinals. Ohio State has finished ranked 22 of 25 seasons, 20 in the top 10 out of 25 seasons, 16 in the top 5, and far outdistancing the Texas totals of 17 ranked, 9 in the top 10, 7 in the top 5. During the college football playoff era, of course, Ohio State won the first championship in 2014. Texas made the playoff for the first time in 2023 and then repeats a playoff appearance in 2024. Charlie Strong, Tom Herman, and of course then also Steve Sarkisian coaching Texas, Urban Meyer, and Ryan Day for Ohio State, leading a program that has lost just 17 games since 2014 and 882 winning percentage, far better than Texas at 84-55. Major bowl games, Ohio State 9-5, Texas at 3-1. The rankings there, 11 years, 11 times in the top 10 for Ohio State, 8 in the top 5. Texas, 6 years ranked, 3 in the top 10, 2 in the top 5. Conference championships, Ohio State 6. Texas won the Big 12 championship in 2023. How much bearing do these numbers have on a Friday's game in Dallas? 0. The 2024 editions of Ohio State and Texas will square off, and of course the Buckeyes appear to be playing better football right now, but both teams have a clean slate and step onto the field with the score at 0-0. Again, check out the Texas channel, the Ohio State channels for live and recorded coverage. We will do it up big right here at the Voice of College Football on the national channel as well. Please like, comment, and subscribe right here at the Voice of College Football.